And hello to another episode of the Swis and Jon Show without Swis because Swis is missing in action. I hope that he returns one day. I think it's only a computer problem. Swis, wherever you are, Swis, come back. We need you. I hope that Swis is doing well. I heard that he was on JJ's show. I hope that he's returning very soon. For the meantime, not to replace Swiss, maybe make it even better, I invited my friend Dodger. So here is Dodger. Hello, good evening.
Hello, hello. It's a Swiss and Dodgy show now. It's Swish and Dodgy.
Oh crap! I was, I hope that we would never reach that point, but now you're saying,
It's a takeover, you see.
yeah.
Swiss back.
You know, those alliances are shifting at the moment.
I
It's
know, I know.
yeah,
There's a lot of things going on. But yeah, maybe that's it, Maybe you're out and it's me and Swiss now.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I think Green Room must do another map very soon to adjust all the alliances and
Well, I
things.
can't wait. I reckon I'm going to be in the evil group. I reckon.
Haven't you been there already?
No, he did. No, he did the show. No, Jamie was in the okay group. Scirocco was in the boring. But I reckon
Mhm.
if he puts me, it'll either be boring or evil. I think it's got to be
Okay,
boring for sure, but maybe evil. We'll see. We'll see.
but it's a cozy place in the evil camp, so you're welcome to join me if you want.
Oh, I don't know if I want to sit in the same camp as O'Sheen. I mean,
Oh yeah. So
yeah,
you,
I've got a problem with O'Sheen, but I don't see myself in the same group as O'Sheen. So
okay?
somehow.
Enough with that politic.
It's
So
not politics. It's just you've got rock. You've got one hand, you've got a rock star, a big rock star, and then you
yeah.
got like the Dodger, and it's like you can't put the two together, really, can you?
No, definitely
No, no,
not.
no, no.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
look who's in the house. We got Danger Will Robinson. We got Chili Badger already.
yeah,
Hey, look,
my friend Russell made
Chris
greetings.
Wood.
Have a great show. He catches us later. Watch Nicholas is in the comments. I hope.
Great
Uh,
stuff. Hey, WN.
so
Got
watch Nicholas. If you want to contribute with your collection, you're welcome to join us. Daughter, is that okay if we do a threesome or
a threesome. Oh, absolutely. I mean, oh, look,
yeah?
we've got a foursome. Mrs. Dodger's here as well, so we can
Oh
do it.
yes, yeah. Hello, Mrs. Dodger. Good evening.
Well, she said, "Good evening." There you go.
Okay.
She had a nice cup of coffee. So I'm all sorted for the night. I've got my coffee here. I've got just finishing off a glass of wine. So
Okay. Do you have any crisps? Any crackers? Anything to eat?
no, I believe it or not, I'm on a diet. I've actually lost a kilo. Well, I hit a max of 107 kilograms, and I've really got to get rid of it. So I've got rid of
Uh,
1 kilo. I'm working on the rest. Like I've
too
got another drop another 30 kilos. So hey, wish me well.
too many Christmas treats, or
Too much wine, too much ghee, my curries that I cook. Just an overindulgence, lack of exercise. The usual things that cause obesity.
yeah. So Chili Badger is also in the comments. Nice patina on the loom with that GMT. Thank you very much. That is my personal GMT. If I would be limited to only one watch in my life, that would be it. So it's surprisingly not a Lange. Danger Will Robinson says, how do we know this isn't a fake channel? Well, you decide. Swiss was kidnapped by a UFO whilst Bigfoot hunting, and well, Jonathan has been trying to adjust to this loss by appealing to Archie's show. To be honest, and Dodger is my partner in crime. Um, we try to cheer Archie a little bit up. I think he has a serious crisis at the moment. I think it's not a shtick. And no matter what has happened or what has been done, I think we should try to give him company. What do you think, Dodger?
Well, no, exactly. I mean, the professor came on, but it's easy to say somebody snap out of it. It's all, it's easier said than done. I mean, certainly depression. from what I know of depression, certainly it's a very difficult thing to get out of without help. I'm not
Yeah, the
saying
best. What kind of topics are we having tonight? So now we are in the depression camp, but
yes, I was hoping that Swis would come on because I wanted to talk about cheeses, really. But seeing as Swis isn't here, we're going to have to talk about watches. But I have a whole dedicated drawer in my refrigerator with all different types of cheeses. So what I wanted to do was to, open the drawer, bring all the cheeses out, and discuss them with Swis.
but you realize that tonight we're talking about watch collection and not Swiss cheese collections, yes? So wrong show.
Yes. Yeah, but I would like to do a slot where we talk about cheese collections, but seeing as we haven't got Swiss, we can't discuss my cheese collection. So
maybe
we'll talk about collectors.
Maybe he's doing a surprise visit. You never know. We have Danger Robinson, unless Swis is a super clone. Well, let's keep the rumors boiling, I would say.
Well, I just hope he's not stuck halfway on a rope halfway up a mountain somewhere. The Matterhorn, he could be halfway up the Matterhorn, strung up by a piece of string and struggling to get up or down, couldn't he?
So people say that you're my MI5 handler. The Dodgy and Swis show. I'm out of the business. Wow.
Well,
so Chris Clues is joining us in the comments.
Chris Clues,
Mrs. Dodger.
Well, Mrs. Dodger is MI5. She is M. You know that.
I had the feeling that she is M, and I'm happy to be one of her foot soldiers, unpaid foot soldiers, over in the Escapement show.
That was a good show.
I think so too. I think so too. Yes. I hope that I haven't been talking too much, but other than that, it was very enjoyable.
It was good. Anyway, we ought to get on to the main topic, which is why do we collect and what drives us to collect. And
let me just say hello to J. Grey Sweater. Boxer is here, and Voulez-vous, lovely Voulez-vous is here. So, yeah, Voulez-vous, if you want to talk about your collection, feel free to hop on. I think you have the StreamYard link. Okay, so Speedy Hernandez just joined us. So it's quite some people here. So, Dodger, we have been talking during the week about collecting watches.
And what drives us, and for what reasons we collect, and what is our driving force, and what is behind our logic of what we collect and why we collect it.
So, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself? How you approach the collector's scene? How did you start? Is this a sickness that ever ends? I know that you recently got a hype piece. Not sure if you can show it on the camera for us.
I will. When we get to it, we will.
Okay.
Well, if I open book. In 1988, I had my first success in business, and I came in for a bonus, and I thought, well, what do I do with this bonus money? So part of it obviously goes to pay for the house, which is like number one thing. Owning a house is very important. But the other part of that, I need to mark the occasion, and I decided to go and spend that money on something that would mark that special occasion. And so I went to the jewelers. I've always wanted a nice watch, and I spoke to the jeweler. But I'd watch things like because around about that time it's the Wolf of Wall Street, Pretty Woman. It was the 80s. Everybody was making money, dashing, to tradesmen were making money. Just making money, And he said, well, look at Rolex. That is for him at the time. He didn't mention Patek, strangely enough, at that time. But so anyway, I purchased a Rolex Datejust. I guess there was
like
a bit
everybody back then.
Everybody, your Daytonas and Submariners. Yeah, that's what that's what.
Nobody wanted that crap.
Yeah. Nobody wanted that shit. Poor people buy that crap. No, sorry, I shouldn't say that. But
exactly,
the tradesmen would buy,
Yeah,
all these
the people with the dirt under their fingernails, they bought the Submariners, and the Daytona nobody wanted because you had to unscrew that crown to wind that up every day. That was a pain in the butt. Nobody really wanted
there's
it.
no gold in it. I mean, the 80s were all about, I don't know, show, wasn't it? It was showing off.
Oh,
You'd all have your Ferrari, it was Miami Vice, it was, Pretty Woman, it was the 80s. It was okay to make money, and people wouldn't look down at you, because now if you make any money, you've got to hide it. You've got to go stainless steel or platinum. Now you have to buy platinum so it looks like steel, so that nobody thinks you're successful, because it's embarrassing to say you're successful now in this new world we live in. Well, that's just the way I look at it. But so okay, that piece was purchased as a landmark and a bit of hype. Yeah, oh, look at me, I've got a Rolex. But look, I was just a little boy. I was 23, 24 years old. Come on, I was a stupid little boy, showing off, thinking that for some reason if I had a nice watch, I'd get, I collected ladies. But, the watch never worked.
You haven't been married back then?
No, I hadn't been married back then. Oh, come on. No. I'm, one dog, one bone, one bone, one dog. One dog with only one bone. So But back in the day, it all used to be a bit of good fun, But yeah, it helped. You had a flashy car. The watch never helped, but flashy cars definitely worked. What's that? Flashy car.
Flashy car was a BMW, or what was it?
Yeah, it was BMW back then. Yeah.
Okay, so you went to that jeweler multi-brand store, apparently?
No, it was a family AD in the town where I lived, and
but they had other watches than Rolex, or
yeah, well, I can't remember, back then. But I know now they're a Patek. I knew nothing of Patek. I knew nothing of anything really. I mean, I went down, took his advice. He said, "What's your budget?" And that came out to be a Rolex Datejust 16013 with a plexiglass.
So 113 is two-tone yellow gold, correct?
Yeah, two-tone 16013. Yeah, and that was the beginning of the journey for Dodge. That was Dodge's beginning of his journey into watches.
How did it feel to purchase your first Rolex?
That was a lot of money. I mean, that was £1,700. I got a discount. It was £2,300, and I got it discounted to £1,700. So I guess I got a 30% discount for the watch.
Wow. Oh, that?
Yeah, on the date.
Was it a company discount, or?
No, they just gave it to me. You just gave it to me straight away. He gave me a 30% discount on the Datejust.
That's a lot.
I've got the booklets. I've even got the price list back then. All the the 1980s price list. I've got it knocking away. But I got a discount, and I was happy. A lot of money. I thought, well, what have I done? But but all the guys, it's quite strange. The only people that realised, that knew what it was the guys. Is that a real? And he got to the point where I said, "Nah, it's not real."
We always have a fake.
I bought it when I was in Hong Kong. The usual excuse.
So Muhammad Ali is asking how long was the waiting time for that two-tone Datejust?
Well, straight off shelf, and on the shelves were, because he showed me, there were Submariners, Daytonas. Oh yes, the real one, the real thing to have back in that day was the Day-Date, the gold Day-Date. That was the real. It was, for me, it was the up and coming yuppie watch. The Datejust was the up and coming yuppie wannabe, which is what I was, just a wannabe. But if you'd really made it, you'd have had the gold Day-Date without a shadow of a doubt. That was it. You were the man. You were the boss man. You were the boss.
Yeah, that was a boss watch, and in Hong Kong they call it the boss.
The boss watch. That was the bollocks. It was the golden bollocks watch.
You know what the nickname for the two-tone Datejust is in Hong Kong?
Nope.
That's the uncle's watch.
Ah, the uncle's watch.
So they call it the uncle's watch, and the Day-Date is the boss.
Yeah, exactly. The Day-Date was, you couldn't quite afford the gold one, could you? And that's why nobody would buy the Air King back then, because it was like, well, it's just the stainless steel. Right, it's all right at the bottom of the shelf. I'm
That was
sorry,
the
but
cheapest Rolex that you could get because it was not chronometer certified. It didn't have a date. So that
try.
was the cheapest
That was
Rolex
the
that you could
cheapest one.
get.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
remember.
I'm a bit embarrassed. I'm a bit embarrassed by being on talking honestly now because it does make me look as if I'm a bit. I was a bit shallow and a bit, But yes, I was back then. I mean, I was just a kid.
How did
But
it
yeah,
help you with the ladies, the two-tone Datejust? Did they
it,
recognize it?
so a lot of the guys, I was working with. I mean, they would all ask, the guy I worked for, actually, my watch was better, and he made a comment saying, "Oh, you got a better watch than me." I said, "Well, that's the way it goes,
I don't care.
I don't give a shit, And but then I noticed a few of the other guys, after a few of the other company directors, they went off for whatever reason. They went down the AD and they all bought themselves Rolexes as well. Next time they got a bonus, they went and bought Rolexes. So I started a trend amongst the guys, but the ladies, well, they just, I think they're more interested in was it your character or your look, or, I don't
So
know.
you had that two-tone Datejust, and you thought you had the best watch in the world. So when
No, the second best. I didn't stretch to a gold day. That was
okay,
the gold. Oh, Jonathan, the Tridor back then. That was it. The Tridor.
ooh, the Tridor, yes.
Oh, they were going
But
to
the
win.
Tridor was even more expensive than the yellow
Oh
gold they
yeah.
did. That
Oh
was a
yeah.
different league.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Tridor was it. I sat there watching that multi-band coloured. And I still don't know how they managed to blend the different types of gold together. It's not plate, is it? I mean,
It is not easy.
somehow they bonded those different alloys because I mean you mix gold with copper and other things to change its color. So somehow they bonded those bands together to make the Tridor. God knows how they did it. But I
Those
mean, yeah.
were amazing watches, and I remember when we managed to sell one. That was a real high roller who bought a Tridor. Just
Oh
have a
yeah,
look at this. How
yeah.
beautiful it is.
The AD had a few in the window, but I mean, at that point, it was way beyond. Well, I mean, I said half of it went to pay the bonus, half of it went to pay my mortgage off, and the other half was for me to spend to mark the occasion. But even if I'd have spent the whole amount, I'd still I'd have to get another 3 bonuses to be able to achieve, to be able to buy the Tridor.
Yeah, but it was a beautiful watch. The idea of having a matte white gold case and those 3
Oh, you
colors.
got it there. Look at that.
Yeah,
I mean, for a
it's
lot
a
of
gorgeous.
people now, yeah, it's small now, isn't it? 'Cause back in the day, it was 36 mil was king. Well, there was
Yeah.
nothing else with 36 mil.
Nobody questioned the size. The size was just like it was. So nobody was talking about ladies' watches when they saw the 36 millimeter watches, didn't they?
Yeah,
I
really, really
I
quite
remember
small.
the hidden buckle was a big deal for the date. In Germany, as a standard, you had the normal buckle, and you had to pay extra for the hidden buckle. And of course, when you got a date, you wanted that hidden buckle.
Oh,
Not
absolutely.
a problem.
Yeah. So, in all honesty, back then I knew less than nothing. My first watch had been in 1979. I bought myself a Seiko Quartz. 1979 when I first started. Well, yeah, when the first or second pay packet that I got, I bought myself a Seiko Quartz. So I'd always been going to the shop window and looking. So I think I always had a connection with watches. I bought the Seiko Quartz, and as I say, I bought the next watch as a marker for my first proper bonus in business. So I've always had, an interest in watches.
So when did your collection expand? What happened?
Oh, it kind of stalled. My watches went into motorcycles. I would accumulate different types of motorcycles. I used to race them around racetracks.
Did you
Had a
sell
few.
the Datejust for a motorcycle? Or
No, I still kept. The other thing is, the strange thing is, I used to wear this date just as knowing nothing that I know now. The wear and tear. The vibration could damage the bracelet. Wear the bracelet. I had no knowledge of it. I used to wear that date just all the time when I was whizzing these whizzing around the racetrack with a date just, no problem at all.
Mhm.
But and there's still not very much stretch, even though it's 1988. Even now, there's not a lot of stretch in the band.
You still have the watch?
Yeah, but it's locked in the safe in the UK.
Hmm.
It's in my place in the UK. So because I'm not wearing it, I thought, well, I'm dragging it, halfway across Europe. Well, I have all my watches in Poland, let's say. So I've tried to offload the ones that I don't wear back in the place in the UK. So.
Hmm.
Plus, you always worry, I mean, I've paid the tax on everything, but if I start crossing borders with free watches now with Brexit, somebody will say,
Yeah.
well, I'll pay the tax. I'll say, well, I've already paid the tax here on it once. I'll pay it a second time. It's just crazy the way the world goes. It is.
Yeah. Yeah,
All the boxes as well to cross borders. So I thought, well, the ones that I don't wear, I'll just leave in the UK and just keep the ones in Poland that I'm wearing on a regular basis.
When you're going back to the UK, are you taking the car or usually the plane?
Or mixed plane because I've got a car
Okay.
to use. I've got a car in the UK as well, but I'm still driving around with a UK car in Poland, so it needs the MOT. So I drive it back every year.
Mhm.
So, but I pick up things like groceries that I can't get in Poland. So I get a car MOT and then I get groceries and things, and then I drive back. It's quite expensive to do it. It's about £700.
Yeah.
Fuel, ferry costs and fuel. It's quite a bit of money to do it.
Absolutely. Are you taking the tunnel or are you taking the ferry?
I do a mix, mainly the overnight. I'm too old now to do straight run. It's 19-hour straight run through the tunnel, but nowadays we break it up. We go to Rotterdam and get the overnight ferry. Like what we call it, the party boat or the disco boat. Because you get on the boat there, they've got singers, a bit of a disco going, you get drunk, bingo, it's a bit of a laugh, and then you go to bed and then you wake up and then you're back in Britain, you drive off the ferry.
Sounds lovely. I can imagine you two doing the karaoke on the ship.
Well, I've never noticed the karaoke, but I am known to do karaoke, but only when I'm in China. When I'm in China in the Japanese bar, I do karaoke. Strangely, that is.
Okay, so you have that date for a very long time. You've been always date just, excuse me.
Okay, and I can't remember exactly when after all the motorcycles. I had a really bad accident, and I've smashed my pelvis. It's all full of titanium. I've got some.
All your fault, or
sorry?
All your fault, or
all my fault? Absolutely, that was totally my fault. I had a really bad accident, so I can't really ride the motorcycles anymore. So what I did was I sold all the motorcycles and then started converting them into watches.
Mm-hmm. So what did you get? You told us that during your motorbike days, you had a Seiko just as a beater along with the date.
I had a Seiko. I also had a Casio Illuminator. And obviously I had the date just. I still got the Illuminator, but a neighbour here, his watch broke, so I've lent it to a neighbour here. So this is a 1990s Casio Illuminator. It's quite a wicked thing at the time because it was an illuminated chronometer.
Danger, Will Robinson, you betcha. Excuse me for interrupting. He wants to hear me sing. That's not going to happen on this channel. It's too valuable to me.
Come on, we can do it together. Edelweiss.
Oh my God, please. Okay, Dodger, focus. Let's go back to watches.
Yeah. So you reminded me of the watches. There's so many things in between that I forgot, but I just remembered about the Casio Illuminator. That was cool. Analog chronometer. So that was an interesting watch. The Seiko I've still got. I just change the batteries every 5 years. I mean, 79. I mean, it's still going strong now. It's if I pull it out now, it's. I've not set it in 2 years since the last battery change. It's within 2 minutes. The timing is still within 2 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. Yeah. So is that analog watch or is that a digital one?
Yeah, it's analog. Hang on, do a show and tell if I can find it, bloody. I did the other day.
We have here a comment by Big Cell. We need this channel monetized. I'd pay for Dodger not to sing. Here comes the business model.
Carry on, Key. Don't
Yeah.
Don't let Dodger sing, Ski. I can't find my little safe. Oh, here we go. Let's give them a show and tell because on a NATO strap. I took the steel strap off because I thought I've got a bit NATO these days. Ever since I've been watching TNT, because I've kind of gone a bit, sort of NATO strappy. Hang on,
a Christian board and a NATO.
Hang on, put the camera on. So 1979 was. Let's take a quote.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's say to show I haven't got the date just.
Beautiful.
It's on a bit of a NATO strap.
That's a keeper, I would say.
Oh, absolutely.
It still doesn't look bad.
Jonathan, seriously, I've not touched this watch in 2 years. So what's the time now?
9:32. So it's 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes off.
So 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not bad, and not a service. So you know that there is a gear train and everything.
Yeah, never serviced, never touched since 1979.
Wonderful. So Danger Will Robinson may actually super chat Archie for some karaoke. Not sure with me or alone. That has to be determined. Okay, so that Seiko is back from your motorbike days, correct?
Before this, prior to motorbike days. This is just me. First job. It was first job days. I was on a job creation scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not. But that was interesting times. Yeah. So moving on from. Yeah, things kicked off a bit with me, in the 80s, I started making some money. And so, 1988 was the date just. And then things like Casio Illuminators and other things that have just disappeared, like a Solville Titus?
Solville Titus, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You got it. Yeah, I had one of those. It disappeared somewhere. Looked like a Cartier. Oh, she found a pic. That's the one. Yeah, we don't know where it's just disappeared.
So did you wear those watches in rotation with your date just?
Yeah,
or was it mainly
wore everything. Yeah.
That is a Cartier Santos reproduction, I would say.
Lucky likey, yeah.
Yeah, but the date window is hideous, I must say. My God, that is a slap in the face, isn't it?
I hate 4 o'clock date windows. So these were all before the date. Just so, I went through all these things and.
Was that plated gold on that Solville Titus, or was that a solid gold bezel?
It must have been. It was only a few hundred quid, a couple of hundred quid. Yeah, it must have
back in the day when the Santos was very popular, they had a silver-colored warranty card that looked like a credit card, and that promised you lifelong warranty. Those were the days where Cartier was promising you lifelong warranty, and that backfired because those bracelets fell apart.
Well, I'll tell you another subject, but I'll talk to you all about Mrs. Dodger's tag, that the plating was supposed to be so many microns thick, and then before you know it, she'd worn it out, and it all went silver from gold.
Mm.
Anyway, I told her she should have had the bloody Cartier, but never mind, that's another subject.
Okay.
But moving on to there's a big gap, and then I had my accident, and what came first, chicken or the egg? Mrs. Dodger got me, cheer me up. She got me an Amiga Constellation chronograph. I think it's got the same.
She gifted you one.
Yeah, well, hang on, how many she gifted me? She's
You're a
given,
bloody
gifted me.
bastard. I've
She's
only gotten.
gifted me 3 watches now. She's gifted
Oh,
me the Constellation speed chronometer. She's gifted me the pre-ceramic 2008 M series Submariner and the Pepsi. So I've done
wow.
well on Mrs. Dodger. I'm not really.
Mrs. Dodger is a keeper. My God.
Jesus, yeah. There's no way I'd have spent my money on a Pepsi.
She has better watch taste than you. You got that bloody Datejust, and she got you a Submariner and a Pepsi.
There you go. But it was good that the date just was good taste in the day. I know it's
Oh
now
yeah. That was.
world's upside down. Everybody needs to hide their wealth. So, instead of buying gold, they have to buy platinum so it looks like steel. I know.
Yeah,
The
we
world's
were selling the two-tone Datejust, always telling the clients you can pick and choose whatever you want. It matches well with a silver-colored jewelry or with a casual dress, or you can use the gold for more formal wear. And so yeah, it's universally combinable.
Yeah, I mean, it did. Hang on, edit my avatar. This was me back in whenever, trying to be James Bond. But if you zoom in, my date just is on the wrist. It's,
I
so
think
it would go in a dinner jacket. It would go in casual sort of situation. I mean, it would go. It would just fit in anywhere. Work or if I'm out and about. And so it was my one and done. The date just really for me was my one and done. It was.
I think that picture is still Jamie Opulence. That is not you.
So there's the date just there on my wrist, there, my left wrist.
Yeah.
There's the,
Is that a white dial?
That's a white dial, Roman numerals. Yeah.
Roman, okay. Printed Romans, or are they those the gold colors Romans?
The gold rays. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But actually, I bought it with the champagne. I'm gonna bore people this story. We bought it with a champagne dial, but I had the. For some reason, early on, within 2 or 3 years, something went wrong with the timing, and so when they serviced it under warranty, I also asked them to swap the champagne dial for the white dial with Roman numerals. So I've still got the champagne dial for it as well.
Oh, really? You could keep that back in the day. Yes, I remember
Yeah,
that.
back in the day, they give it all the. Yeah, I used to get. It was a spring that had gone, so they sent me the spring with the seals and some of the parts that were replaced. So I had all the replaced parts back. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we were selling two-tone Datejust like crazy, and we had a kind of cupboard where we had those the men's and the ladies two-tone Datejusts, and we probably had 15 of them in all kind of dial variantes. And sometimes we swapped movements out. When a client came after 2 weeks and he changed his mind and wanted a blue dial, then we just took the one from our stock, took the movement out and put it in the worn two-tone Datejust, and put the other one back on stock. Those were the days.
Yep, those were the days, my friend, as the record goes and the song goes. Anyway, aren't we talking about our logic as to why we're collecting watches? Or do you want to carry on talking about my boring collecting life?
Well, was there a strategy, or did you just buy it because you got them from?
This is the whole thing. I mean, there was no strategy, and to be honest, now I'm left with 3 watches that I don't wear. I've always bought watches because I like the individual watches. I've not thought of any kind of structure, such as I need a pilot's watch, I need a field watch, I need a chronometer, I need a dress watch. I need complications. So I've never had any logic. I've only purchased or had watches that I've kind of liked.
I totally understand that because I never got that logic. I'm a little bit sick of watching collection reviews, because first of all, I'm of the opinion only you can decide what you need. Don't let anybody else tell you what you need or what you should buy. But secondly, I never understood then the advice based on an existing collection. That is a kind of strange. And if someone thinks, okay, someone needs a dress watch, a chronograph, and a dive watch, that doesn't necessarily mean that I need that.
But I think you get all sorts of people. I mean, you get people, I guess, who buy watches because they like them and that purchase and made the fact they've enjoyed those individual pieces. I think the people that I've seen that, you know, want to buy and be seen to have all the hype pieces. Yeah. And there are people who've solely been buying watches for investment purposes. So we're to three types of people. They just buy them as investment pieces and put them away and never wear them. And it's it's their pension fund, effectively.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the odd person, such as yourself, where, you know, they go for, you know, something that's tailored towards them, a piece unique in the way you're looking, you know, you're working at the moment. Or in the past, you've actually taken a watch and tailored it to your own needs by taking Dremel to it and modifying it.
I prefer tailored much more than put a Dremel on it, to be honest.
Okay.
How do you like my new term when we've been talking about Artisan de Genève, and now I'm calling myself Artisan de Higgins? How do you like that?
I think it's good because, you know, going back to the motorcycle days, you would have a motorcycle, but then you would heavily modify it towards your own needs. You would adjust it so it fitted you perfectly. You would adjust its power ratio and suspension damping to suit you and your riding style. So I get it. You know, I get the logic as to why you would not just want a watch, but you would want it, you know, to be tailored to the way you want it to suit you. You know, like your world, like a world time. You know, all those places are landmarks that relate to you, not just a watchmaker's idea of landmarks and time zones, but, you know, it all relates to you, your life, and what you do. So I get it completely. It's like tuning in a race bike, you know, to sort of suit your own riding style, you know.
And nobody else can ride it then.
Exactly. You know, strangely enough, you know, like you could get a race bike and you actually, because of your riding style, you could actually detune it. So you choose to reduce the power on it to alter where the power band comes in. So rather than top end, you know, you're better powering out of the corner, you go in fast, you brake, you go slow, but you want to power out fast, but then you kind of reduce your top end by doing that. So I get it. You're tailoring something to it's what you want, you know.
Mm-hmm. So there is a question by Boxer 1200. Have I been wearing the Doxa? Yes, I have, and I will. In my opinion, it gives me summer vibes. So I was wearing it during summer for a couple of hours. I've always been wearing my Porsche design chronograph, but I had it on rotation with the Doxa, and the Doxa will be back in summer. Yes, I've worn it, and I still very much like it. Question by Thomas Burnett. Hello, Thomas. Why do you collect watches now, Dodger? Isn't the Pepsi your one and done now? Will you sell the rest?
I think, Thomas, I think now having had the Pepsi on my wrist and having owned it for a while, I could say to anybody that with the complication, the Pepsi could be a one and done. It would suit, you know, its thickness. It could be worn in a dress situation. You know, it's you know, readable. It's just an attractive watch. You know, the red and blue are sort of engaging colours, and so yes, I understand it could be one and done. And I did think about cutting things back down to, I'm thinking, what the hell am I doing collecting these watches? You know, it's a load of hassle. I've got boxes to sort of find a home for. I've got watches to keep safely somewhere else, and you know, my old watch box all went mouldy and that sort of destroyed. It's hassle having these things, isn't it? But then thinking about it, it can't be my one and done, because at the end of the day, I'm a collector. I collect things in the same way as I collected the motorbikes. I've got to collect the watches, so I can't have a one and done. I've now realised I cannot have a one. Maybe 4 and done. I'm working on just having 4 and done.
Yeah, I was just about to ask. So that Datejust that has been with you since 1988. Wow, that's a long time. Would you ever be willing to sell this?
Well, this is the question. I mean, there's that and 2 others that I don't wear. I just don't wear them. And I know there's a connection, but what I'm realistically, I've got no kids. What I'm going to do with this, and I wait till I'm drop dead and it'll go to the cat sanctuary. It'll. But if I rolled that piece in plus the other 2 pieces, then maybe I'd have a piece then that I would wear.
Yeah, I understand your dilemma, because I've been in the same dilemma just a couple of weeks ago. I'm after a big heavy hitter, and I sold the watch that I owned for 20 years, and that started my personal collecting career, a Rolex GMT Master. I started with a 16760 Fat Lady.
I don't know why he sold that.
I need the money, and I haven't worn this particular watch now for, I don't know, 7-8 years. So it's nice to own. It is part of my history. It used to be my one and done watch back in 2003 when I bought it. But I'm not wearing it anymore. And I have too many Rolex watches. And I just want to finance that big, fat, heavy hitter. So I have to let some pieces go. And although I admire the history, I'm also not too attached. And the GMT Master that is in the teaser picture of this particular show does mean more to me than the other one. So that was the decision that I made, and it's gone.
Probably similar with me, 1601 for the Datejust, it marks a moment in my life. But there again, it doesn't get any airtime. I don't wear it.
Yep.
Well, what's the point? It's having to be securely held somewhere else, and it's always a worry. If it'll disappear, or as I get Alzheimer's, I'll forget even where it is. It's
yeah, and the question is, so you haven't worn this for a very long time. Why not cashing them in and buy another piece that you're going to enjoy more?
And that's the logic. I've got 3 of these pieces that fit in that bracket.
Yeah,
that we'll have to discuss how much money, but it's another show for somewhere else. But that will release a certain amount of money. I could put some money to that, but what do I do? I think I've exhausted Rolex. I can't think of anything else within Rolex that I would actually want. Let's put it this way: Omegas. I'm done with Omega. I'm really happy with my Seamaster 300. That's brilliant. That could easily be another one and done on somebody with a budget, of 4K. That's absolutely that new movement. With that new hairspring and its power reserve. The Seamaster 300, I think, is unbeatable. I think it absolutely rivals the Submariner. The only downside to it is the bezel action is nowhere near the quality of Rolex. Nowhere near.
It's a plastic ratchet. And may I mention the horn, the helium escape valve?
Yeah, I mean, you love it or hate it. It's a bit like that. In the UK, it's a bit like they say, it's a bit like Marmite. You either love it or you're going to hate it.
That's true. Yeah.
But look, if it gets too much, I could always, like you, I could also take the Dremel to it and just buzz it off.
No, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. It's not that easy.
I was thinking I could buzz it off and then send it down to Alex to sort of weld it up a bit. And,
okay, so put some super glue inside to fill the gap.
No, I'll get it done properly. I'll send it off to Alex, the watchmaker, to do it properly, build it up, and just sort of smooth it over and give it a good polish. And
I admire your optimism. I think Alex would rather kill you than doing that. But so Benjamin Robinson, the Benjamin G World Timer Celestial Voyager is being assembled as we speak. I hope that it's going to be ready by next week, and I hope to receive it in the week after when I go to Berlin to collect it. That is the plan for the moment. Nobody knows if something breaks or if something is going to be damaged. And they have to work on another part. But fingers crossed, should be all well by next week, and I'm gonna keep you updated.
Very nice. Are you really looking forward to? Are you looking forward to your Berlin trip then?
Yes,
Must be.
yes, but I have those crazy thoughts now that I'm seeing the end of this project, that I tell myself probably the journey was more enjoyable than owning the watch. Don't get me wrong, I'm totally looking forward to own this watch, but it was such a crazy ride with a lot of turns and twists and surprises, and it's a little bit sad that this wild trip is soon over. Does that make sense, or is that totally crazy?
No, it does. I mean, yeah. I mean, I know, hunting, getting the Seamaster, it came, and then the hunt's over, and you think, wow, and then you think, oh, need another hunt. So I don't think you'll ever stop. If you're a collector, you never stop hunting, do you? I don't think I'll ever stop. I'd like to believe I can stop at 4.
And it keeps us busy, so we are not getting even more stupid ideas while we are hunting a special piece, don't we?
I think, between you and me, nobody watching. I mean,
nobody's watching.
It's a disease, really. It's almost like an infection. You can't help. A lot of people just don't think twice. They have a watch and that's it, and they keep it for the rest of their lives. But people like us, for some bizarre reason, we can't help ourselves, and we enjoy collecting these things.
Yeah, the question is, are those people who buy a watch be satisfied and keep it until the end of their life? Are those the same people, or are we being the constant hunters?
Can you I didn't quite get that, the question.
Well, I think the people who buy an expensive watch kind of treat themselves and being done are the more sane people than we, who are never really 100% satisfied. Always.
You're right. Yeah, I think you're right. They are the same people, because I mean, for God's sake, I mean, it's like,
But maybe it's a male thing.
People are happy with having one car. I know there are some people that maybe would like to have 1 or 2 cars, but there are also crazy people who like 5 or 10 cars. So some of us, the normal people in the world, sort of are quite happy with just 1 car, let's say, and 1 watch. But there are crazy people like us that just can't stop fiddling with watches. It's not just having them, is it? It's discussing them. It's thinking about them, sort of being interested in how they work, what's special about them. There's it's not just a watch. It's it's a whole discussion, isn't it? It's a whole rabbit hole. It really is. That's it. It's a rabbit hole. You sort of fall down it, and you just don't know where it's going to end.
And hanging around on those streams is not good for us either, because you're always getting new ideas.
Worse. Yeah. I mean, another idea, somebody was talking about, well, which watch are you going to get buried with? And somebody said the only watch you can get buried with is a day date, a gold day date. And I was thinking, really? Do I need to think about the watch I'm being buried with? It's true.
So Thomas Burnett is asking, which dress piece would you recommend for Dodger if he consolidated? A Lange Saxonia 1815? Remember what I said earlier. I'm a little bit hesitant in giving my advice, particularly on a particular model. You know that I'm a big Lange fan, and
Never. Really? You're a big fan of Lange? Oh, yeah. Really? I didn't know.
So I would recommend getting a Lange and buy the model that speaks to you most. My personal favorite on an entry level, and that's really insane what I'm saying right now, is the 1815 Auf Up down, but that is already 31,000 euros now, which is totally obscene for an entry-level watch, but that is how it goes at the moment with Lange.
Can you bring that one up?
Yeah, one second.
Because for me, what's happened to me is, obviously I retired a while back, and I don't get an opportunity to dress up anymore. Mrs. Dodger sold my tuxedo, and that's all gone. So I don't get invited to those sort of events. I don't go out to fancy dinners anymore. And so for me, a dress watch really, well, it just doesn't fit in with my lifestyle. And I always thought, well, if I did have a dress watch, it would be something like a reverso, yeah.
Hmm? So I pulled the up down over up for you. That is a watch that I can never get tired of. You may call it a dress watch. You know that I'm wearing my dress watches all day long to the grocery store. When I change the wheels on my car, of course, I put those watches down. But I'm wearing very often a dress watch just in my normal life. I disagree with the concept that dress watch is only for a tuxedo or for a suit.
For me, it always has been the case. You know, you wore a dress watch, you know, when you put on your suit or your tuxedo. Back in my day, it was blazer and slacks. You know, if you're a bit of a lounge lizard, you dress up in the evening wear, and
So the reverso would be on a leather strap or on a metal bracelet?
oh, it would definitely be leather.
Okay.
Definitely leather. It has to be leather. I mean,
But why isn't that considered in your books being a dress watch then?
what, the Langay?
No, the reverso.
Yeah, yeah, it would be a dress for me. It would be a dress watch.
Okay. So you would be fine with wearing a dress watch as a second watch, or would you limit yourself only to a tuxedo?
I don't think
If you had
I'll
that.
be looking for. I don't think I'll be looking for a dress watch now. And to be honest, there is one dress watch, but it would just be following fashion and a trend, which would be a Patek World Time.
Oh, okay.
But I was out with Jamie in London, and when we were down in London, we went to basically they told me you got no chance of getting one of them. So there you go.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, particularly with the cloisonné dial. I quite like this one. That's also Jamie's watch, the
The
Reverso
blue, yeah,
Tribute.
blue, yeah. I love the blue.
Beautiful watch.
It is beautiful. So that would, you know, if Dodger was back in his 007 days, you know, that's when that's the watch I would wish to. So I have a thing about Deco, Art Deco, and that reminds me a lot of that era.
Hmm.
But not that I was alive in those in the 30s, but you know, I'm drawn towards. You know, I lived in an Art Deco house and stained glass windows and fireplace. You know, it's just kind of loved all things Art Deco at one point.
So how important would be the horology that Swiss and I continue talking on this channel?
Well, this is a path, isn't it? You are dragging me along a certain path to begin to appreciate workmanship. So I never considered, you know, the workmanship that goes into a movement. You know, the engraving, you know, cloisonné, all these fancy French words used for different patterns that are made on watches by hand, and work that's, you know, when something's handmade and it takes hundreds of hours to actually make it.
Mm-hmm.
This is a whole new world for me. You know, you look at Dodger as being, you know, let's say an Omega, and let's face it, Omega and Rolex are just mass-produced machine off a production line knockoffs, you know. But where
Industrially produced watches. Yes.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they are. At the end of the day, they are just industrially produced watches,
Mm-hmm.
Omega, Rolex. But then, you know, when you get to, you know, where you and Swiss are in terms of, you know, what you talk about, you know, sort of things that you own, it's a slightly different world to Dodgers, you know, where Dodgers been, you know, it's a, you know, a bit of a pleb, really, you know, it's starting to open my eyes to appreciate, you know, workmanship and effort.
Yeah, but that is a rabbit hole then, and a very expensive one.
Yeah. Well, expenses isn't a problem, you know. It's not that, you know. I always look at, you know, I have to like something, then I'll buy it, you know, no matter what it is, no matter what cost it is.
Yeah,
but you know, but I don't necessarily want to buy it because it's fashion and people say, "Oh, you should have one of these." I guess the Pepsi fell into that bracket. But hey, look, at the end of the day, I got the Pepsi and I didn't buy it. So
all what counts is, does it make you happy? Does it make you feel great when you're wearing it? That
yeah,
is what
yeah,
it comes
yeah, I
down
do.
to.
I mean, I love the Pepsi. I'm really grown to appreciate it. From knowing, yeah, it's a hype watch. It's difficult, but I can see what. But I can actually see why it is a hype watch, and I can see a beauty in it. So it's not just for the sake of its hype or its value. I can appreciate, it is a nicely made watch. I love it with a Jubilee bracelet. I love the way the sun catches it. I love the fact that it's not a bright blue and red. It's a subtle. The ceramic is very subtle. Um, yeah, it's a lovely piece.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And I remember when I bought my first Rolex, that was the GMT Master that I just mentioned. Um, and that was a dream that became true, because I felt even more connected to my heroes. My heroes were James Bond. He was
Yeah,
wearing a Rolex Submariner, which is part of the family line. I was a big Magnum PI fan back then, and he wore such a watch. And I've been spending hours watching those shows and just looking at on his wrist, and just check how beautiful those watches looked. And that is what I mean. Look, I'm not walking around and think that I'm Magnum or that I'm James Bond, but I
you can
I just
dream.
feel good. I just feel good because again, I had this trip. I fancied it for a very long time, and finally I got it, and I have it on the wrist. And this is just a fantastic feeling when you're able to make those dreams true.
Mm. I find it the other thing, compared to my collecting and riding of motorcycles. The thing with those was, you take them on a track, take them on a racetrack, and you would never know. You go out one day, and that would be the end of it. You'd destroy it, and
Yeah,
it's like the watch hobby is somewhat safer than buying motorcycles that you destroy on a racetrack.
yeah. So what got me into Rolex was this ad. Um, that ad was on the back cover of a National Geographic magazine. I was already a James Bond fan. I knew that he was wearing Rolex, um, and I've seen this ad. Reinhold Messner back then was the best mountaineer, mountain climber that was out there. And there was this ad for this Rolex Oyster Quartz, which is still, in my opinion, totally out of place, because he should have worn a Submariner or an Explorer, and not an Oyster Quartz. But that was back in the 1980s, when Rolex were trying to push those Oyster Quartzes. And that
Yeah,
got me.
yeah. I've also got some brochures from back then where they were pushing the oyster quartz and
Yeah,
the oyster quartz presidents. I think you can buy them now, but I don't know. I mean, if you bought one of those today, would they ever service it or be able to fix the
it's
quartz move?
getting difficult because there is a rumor that Rolex is running out of electronical components.
Yeah,
So the mechanical components is not a big problem because it's very familiar to your Datejust. The problem is the electronics that is
no,
involved.
absolutely, absolutely.
So at the moment, they're still supplying you with spare parts. They're getting expensive. Nobody knows if Rolex decides to give out the blueprints for a third party, probably to do that, or maybe they're just ordering a batch of them when they're running out. You never know what Rolex does. Um, I hope that they remain faithful to those watches.
No, Rolex are a bit like a secret society. You just don't know. They don't let anything out of the bag. They don't say, whether they're working off stock or they're getting subject to manufacture new electronic. You just don't know. You've got no idea what goes on behind those closed doors.
Yeah. So we have a comment here by the Chili Badger. The SAs at Lange Boutique in Harrods are friendly and appear to really love their watches and want to share that with you. Rolex, on the other hand, are a bit standoffish. I must say, I had fantastic experiences with the Lange Boutique, New Bond Street. Not sure if that has been discussed previously. I've had a very, very enthusiastic guy there who turned out to be one of my Rolex forums friends because he was very enthusiastic. I didn't know who he was. Then he gave me his business card, and I saw his name, and I remember that he was a frequent poster on the Rolex forum, and that we had some private conversations via private messages. So that was quite a fantastic experience there.
Yeah, certainly my experience. I'm still in contact with my jeweler from '88. I mean, I didn't just buy watches from them. We, a lot of Mrs. Dodger's jewelry I purchased from the AD. But when I went there, I think I did mention something like a Pepsi. And basically, he told me I've got no chance. The fact that I've been with them from 1988 meant nothing. He basically told me I needed to spend the thick end of £200,000. What to get a Pepsi? I mean, why do that? You can just pay the piper and pay the grey dealer the little bit extra and get it. It's just.
It's too bad that even with such a history, you're not able to get the pieces that you really want, isn't it?
I will have a last laugh. Believe me, I will have a laugh.
Will you walk in and show them your Pepsi?
I did think about it, because I do need a link. It's a little bit tight, it's on the very end of the extension. Because obviously I've bought it, it's bought secondhand. I think one of the links had been missing. So
I hope that I'm not disclosing a secret, but Mrs. Dodger got this beautiful watch from you. Was that from that AD where you bought that date just in 1988?
No. Strangely enough, it's another way. The various routes you can go AD, you can go grey market. The other way is it was through a really close friend of ours who's we met through the YouTubes. He was in contact with another YouTuber who had a grey market dealer, and I managed to get probably what was the cheapest Pepsi in the UK at the time.
Wow! And so you got also that lady date just from this particular dealer, or?
Yeah, the lady date just Mrs. Dodger's lady date. Yeah, that was our AD that supplied that. So
that was the AD back from 1988.
1998. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So, but she'd already bought a Submariner and Amiga from there. Her date just no, she bought that from another grade dealer. The diamond date just. She got that. No, that was through Grace. It wasn't through our AD. But we did look at the AD, but he wouldn't give us a discount. And at that time, being a lady's 36 mil, okay, it's got diamond bezel, fancy blah blah. I still didn't think, 20 grand, it was, just, he wouldn't offer any kind of a discount on it. And so she did buy that grey.
Mm-hmm. So you participate on a lot of channels, and I know that we sometimes talk about certain watches, and I know that particularly here on this channel, when we're talking about a particular watch, you're doing some research. Sometimes you give me feedback. I guess that there are watches that you just research out of interest. Are there any watches that you came across recently where you thought yourself, I really want to get this? So not only an interesting watch, a watch where you really felt the desire.
None of this is going to be on your level, okay? Your level of horology, your high
craziness.
Yeah. Okay. Two things that would fit in that category. For whatever reason, I think it was to do with the split second functionality, was the Zenith Chronomaster Sport.
Mm-hmm.
But then that came too much to be like a Daytona. You know what I mean? Want to be in? I don't know. Went off that. And the other one was the Breitling Daytona.
Mm-hmm.
But the
The
problem
gold
with
one?
that was it wasn't a true annual calendar.
Yeah.
That's what got me, and the thickness of it, and the fact that it wasn't a true annual calendar put me off. And there's a lot of money, Okay, it's $8,000, but it's still not a true annual calendar. Although it's a very nice. What it does look like is a bloody Patek, doesn't it? It looks
Yes.
exactly like the
With the
Patek.
salmon dial. Let me
And
let me
let's
put it
face it,
up.
if I bought that, I'd be thinking, why in the hell haven't I got the Patek?
Yeah, but the difference is like $100,000 between the Patek and the Daytona, isn't it?
Well, exactly. I mean, I could do it, but I don't want to spend
Yeah.
$100,000 on a watch
Mm.
personally.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a difficult choice. My experience in life is never take the cheaper variant of something that you really want.
I mean, it is. I mean, you've got it exactly. It was a salmon dial that I'd be interested. That's exactly the watch.
Mm.
But the trouble is, it's not. It's trying to be the Patek, and it's not the.
It's not the Patek. Yeah.
It's not the Patek. I mean, syringe hands. I mean, it's got it all there. It's got the moon phase. But it's not a true annual calendar, is it? It won't take into account the dodgy days, as I call them, the thingy days. What do you call them, dodgy days?
So you're thinking about the Patek Philippe annual calendar chronograph, correct?
Yeah. But, I just couldn't bring myself to...
the new one with the copper die, you mean?
I'd have to go and Google it myself. I think even the older one, but being the one, any Patek that looks like that, there you are. But it's a true annual calendar.
1 second, let me.
But it doesn't have to be the chronograph. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be a chronograph.
Well, they have a perpetual calendar also with a salmon colored dial, and I'm just trying to find that 1 second. Perpetual. I'm a bad multitasker.
So, because you haven't got Swiss.
Yeah. I need Swiss.
So has he been on JJ's channel?
Yes, I heard that he was on the comments, and that leads me to the conclusion that he has computer problems. He always had problems with his computer with the microphone, and the fact that he hasn't been on a proper panel tells me that he has computer problems, because he can write comments on his mobile phone, but it's getting difficult to live stream on the mobile phone. That is my.
We have to go fund him, get him a computer.
I would do that. I would be happy to do that, but I know that it's not really a problem of finances. I think it's more a problem of setting one up and getting one. Swiss is a little bit lazy sometimes, so I think that is the bottom of it. But Swiss, I love you, so please come back, and I hope that he comes back. I know that this is also a very busy time for him professionally. He told me that he will not be available very much in December. Now we have January, probably another emergency came up, but it would be good to hear from him. As far as I know, we are cool. I didn't do anything to piss him off, so I think it's all good.
The busy time in cheese making was in the summer, but maybe I'm not.
Yeah, he's not a cheese maker, unfortunately.
Oh, spoiled it for me.
Yeah.
But go back one. Now you're going forward
the chronograph.
Yeah. I mean, is there something more special about the polishing that goes into Patek compared? We looked at that Breitling, but I think there's something more special in the way the finish of the Patek compared to something like the Breitling.
Of course,
the whole polishing, the whole.
Also, the quality of the dial and the hands is totally different. You can't really compare those two, particularly when you turn it over and have a look at the movement.
Yeah, exactly. So how much money is that sort of thing? Is that 50, 60, 70?
Oh, no. That's going to be, I think that is a platinum. I'm really bad with Patek. I think it's platinum, and that will be then in 100.
In the 100 mark, yeah.
Second, let me
Salmon.
check. Let me check. As we reported in this article, I'm not sure if it has been sold. So 2022 novelties, and let's see if we find this particular watch. I don't know why monochrome is getting so big on this browser.
Voulez-vous paddock, as AC3 calls it, a paddock. A paddock. Paddock.
Here we go. No, that's a perpetual chronograph. It's not there anymore. It's only the perpetual chronograph. So let me check. Patek Philippe. We go now to the Patek Philippe main page, and we're doing that live for the punters. Let's have a look what they have, because sometimes they change the dial colors and whatever. So let's go. Where is Patek Philippe?
Like a fish. I think, yeah. Voulez-vous, it's a haddock. We'll try. If I get a Patek, I'll try frying it for you. I'm running out of gas bottles, so I can't fry anything at the moment.
All models. Here we are. All models, luxury watches. Here we go. Click OK. Let's have a look at the chronographs. I know that I'm getting criticized by Russ, who is a big Patek aficionado, for not knowing instantly this watch. Here we are, white gold with
I do
the
like
rose gold.
I'll say, I'm saying I don't want a dress watch, but
80,000.
Wait, oh, there you go. It's not 100. There you are.
No, it's not 100. But let's go back to the perpetual calendar. I think
if I was working again, yeah, it would. I would definitely get that. But I just live in the village now, and I'd just be wearing it while I'm sitting on the sofa or going out chopping wood.
So here's a perpetual calendar 93.
Oh, look at that movement. Wow.
Oh, I'm not the biggest fan of this movement. You may call me a moaner, but I like
the spiral work. I know there's probably a fancy name for it in French. It's all sounds sexy. But
you mean the perlage around the rotor here?
Yeah, okay. Something else I need to learn. The pelage. I like the pelage or the spiral work. The spiral work. Let's say there's a dodgy term.
I'm happy that those little things keep you happy.
I never remember it. Spellage. What did you say it was? Spellage?
Perlage, just like pearls. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can also see the perlage here on the main page.
I don't get that. No, these French make up some really fancy names, and I never get it.
You know that
I got thrown out of French in school anyway, so I got double chemistry instead of French.
Oh, I hated French when I was at school. But then I participated in a student exchange with France, and I've been living with the family for 6 weeks. The daughter was absolutely gorgeous. The neighbor's girl was absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, wow.
So I was totally confused, I can tell you.
So you're hooked on France. I get it.
I haven't seen much of France, but those two girls were amazing. And I learned it then quick. Let's put it that way. So you know that those decorations have been really functional back then. Mr. De Haas.
They gather. Am I correct? If you had any kind of material that would spin off the works, then those ridges would gather that material and stop that material from damaging the movement. Is that correct?
Yeah, it catches up dust and small particles.
Yes,
But
yeah.
those decorations have also been done to cover up the scratches from the watchmakers during the production.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
That is what Mr. De Haas from Lange keeps on telling me when we are talking about decoration. He tells me, the main reason for those decorations is to cover up the mistakes from the watchmakers.
Well, Rodent's made it a little point just to sideline it. Yeah, I'll look at that. Yeah, I'll look at the reverse. So I
Yep.
like a salmon dial, and maybe you're right. Maybe seriously look at reverso with a salmon dial.
So Voulez-Vous is giving compliments about, I guess, about the perpetual calendar or the chronograph. I haven't time stamped it. So Voulez-Vous, are you talking about this or the chronograph? So I imagine buying
I
this
think
one.
she might be talking about me. I mean, I think she wants to take me out on a joyride. What she's saying is, Dodger, buy this watch, and then she's going to take me out in a cabriolet, and we're going to blast some music.
Do you know the Police Regatta de Blanc album?
No. Oh yeah, of course, please. Yeah. Oh
I don't
God,
know
yeah.
this album.
There's one particular track. Yeah.
Okay.
Won't go into that now.
So she's talking about the chronograph, which is a beautiful thing. But then, Dodger, now let me seduce you. Let's go on the Lange and Söhne.
You keep dragging me back into Lange.
I'm sorry, I'm a one-trick pony. You know that. So.
Oh, that's okay. I'm getting to know that.
That is my familiar territory. So we have here.
This could be a Polish and German thing, because of course Patek's Polish, and we all know Lange is German, so it's Poland versus Germany all over again.
Well, let's not get into that.
Get into that, yeah. Okay.
How about that as a Patek alternative?
Looks like something I'd wear in a trench in World War One.
Whoa!
Sorry.
Dodger.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Looks like a field watch to me. I mean, it looks like it's too fieldy. It's not. It looks a bit too,
How about the other ones?
Too
I'm not giving
fieldy.
up. The other ones.
There when I'm planting your cabbages, it's a cabbage planting watch.
Dodger.
Sorry.
The most beautiful chronograph movement in the trade.
That's
You're insulting it.
That's better.
Have a look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Now we have Jamie ruin the party, the Lange party, by saying Patek is king. And you're partly right, my friend Jamie. Jamie, hop on. Let's talk about collecting.
I'm sure you'll have something to share with us.
Yeah. Maybe he has something new.
Jamie, as long as it's not breakfast.
Yeah, Danger Will Robinson can hear the disappointment, the devastation that you caused with my emotional state of mind.
I didn't mean to look, but seriously, the black
Dodger,
dog.
it's all okay. It's all okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't mean to. But
don't
this one with the blue, the blued hands, and I am one for a white dial. I like white dials, salmon dials, blue dials. I like green sunburst dials, like the sunburst dial and the Seiko Alpinist. That green sunburst. I love that. Yes, that's more me.
So, yeah, you hurt my feelings. Don't expect any calls next Christmas time when you have another watch and you can't handle it anymore.
I can't. Yeah, work out as to set. Yeah. I mean, who do you call on Christmas Day? This is the thing, when you're a kid, you get all these presents and you got problems with it. I mean, you can either take them back or talk to somebody about how you're going. But if you got Jonathan Higgins on speed dial and it comes to watching, on Christmas Day you can ring Jonathan Higgins. Well, sod the family thing. Jonathan, how do I use this bloody Pepsi?
Yeah, I'm dropping the fork while we are having the Christmas turkey.
Hang on, there's some Dodger out. He's got a watch. He can't use it.
But I remember when I was very young, I got a model car, and there was an important part missing. And that Christmas was so long until I could go to the store and complain that this part was missing, and then they had to order it. So it took forever
That's
to
the
make it
worst.
possible that I complete my Christmas present. It was horrible. I was
Yeah, it
traumatized.
ruins Christmas, you know. And the other thing is, you get a Christmas present, right?
Yeah,
And it doesn't. No, they didn't give you the batteries, and so
yeah.
you scrounge around the house. You realise you haven't got any of these batteries, and you've got to wait for the shops to open after Christmas before you can play with the present. That's no good
Mm,
either.
yeah. And when you work in retail, uh, it's a bad time because basically you don't want to work. You just come from Christmas and you're looking forward to New Year's Eve. So you're not really in the mood of working. And then you get all those people who just want to return the Christmas gifts that they got, and are basically after the money, not really after a replacement. So that is really a tough time for the salespeople, I can tell you. Not very pleasant.
I'll tell you, I'd love it. I'd love it for my AD to come up and say, "Oh, I've got a Pepsi. I'll buy it off him," and then come in the next day say, "Well, I don't like it."
Do you know the story of the rancher, the Pepsi Gate, the Batman Gate?
No, not the Batman. I've heard lots of rancher stories, but not the Batman Gate.
So, a couple of years ago, he got a call from his AD that his Batman was there. That was back in the day where Batman probably was 8,000, and you could get like 12,000 on the secondary market. So it was a high demand piece. So he went to his AD, and the AD sized it up, filled out the warranty paper, and the rancher was about to, or he was putting cash on the table, and then the sales assistant started pulling off the stickers, and he said, "What are you doing?"
Oh,
And he said, that is company policy. I have to remove those stickers. And he said, "No, you're not." And she said, "Yes, I have." So he grabbed his money and left the store without the Batman after she removed the stickers.
right.
Everybody else would have been happy receiving one, but he said, "No stickers, not my money."
So, do you think he didn't want the stickers removed because he wanted to have the joy of removing the stickers, or he didn't want the stickers removed because he was just buying it as an investment piece to be hidden
No, no,
away?
no. He's a lawyer, and lawyers are writers on principles. So it was just a
Oh,
principle thing. He would
well,
have removed the stickers himself.
yeah, yeah. Because I enjoy peeling off the stickers. It's quite amazing. Then you go for a month, and then you realise that within the class somewhere, have you had this, that you missed one or you missed two, and
Oh
and
yeah,
especially on the Submariners and on the
yeah.
Pepsi.
The
There's two
modern
tiny ones on the shoulders, isn't there? There's
yeah
two tiny, and you always miss those. You forget to peel those off, and then later on, as you wash it, as something catches, you think, "Oh, what's this?" It's not another bloody sticker.
yeah the modern Rolex watches are particularly difficult, but also the Lange watches because they have those little stickers on the sides of the lugs that you don't really discover until they start peeling off a little bit.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean, even the Pepsi, that was, second hand. The sticker's still on it, and I spent, I must have removed about 4 or 5 stickers off the thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the buckle of the bracelet
Yeah,
has many hidden stickers.
yeah,
Yeah.
and very difficult ones to peel out 'cause they're almost in the works, or in the
Yeah.
works, aren't they?
So, Dodger, where are we going from here? What?
Well, this is all for another show. Where does Dodger go? Where does Dodger? What we need to do is to look at what Dodger's got, what value that will bring, then what Dodger might want, and then what Dodger might have to put to the money gained from the free to make the fourth. I mean, I'm not got a problem with adding money to the pot,
Hmm.
but it's a case of what? Add
My
money to
per
the pot, but what?
My process is different, and that is where Mr. GMT, who's usually totally useless, comes handy. I did that a couple of times. I called him up and told him, look, I'm totally in love with this particular watch, but I can't afford it. And he then said, okay, let's have a look over your collection and let's have a look which particular piece has to go to make this possible. And probably that should be the way that you approach the issue or the problem.
Mm.
What do you think?
Well, there's a lot to sleep on, isn't there? But
Yeah,
much food for thought tonight. But I
but
think it's just it's a process and a journey, isn't it, John? This whole thing that we're into is just there's a process and there's also a journey.
it's a bumpy ride, yes, but yeah.
Mm.
And it's beautiful that that you're able to make friendships on that way.
Well,
You're
that's the
not
beauty
alone.
of it. It's it's not only I've made friendships. I mean, it's also enabled me to, well, Mrs. Dodger, to obtain things, at a special rate, a bit of a discount. And, I've also learned not to make mistakes in my journey, not to waste my money on what I have learned is not to what I've learned from people here on the tubes is not to compromise. I'm
Yeah.
not compromised by buying the Zenith, and I'm not compromised myself by buying the Breitling. And I think without having been here and within the community here, I could have easily have made that mistake and had buyer's remorse.
Well, different folks. Some people are happy with the compromise. It depends on who you ask. There are a lot of people who say, "Yeah, you can't get a Rolex, so get a Tudor instead." My line of thought is always different, so I never compromise, or when I've compromised, I regretted it sooner than later. So
Mm. I think we're all different. We collect for different
absolutely, yeah.
reasons. I'm really, I'm just as interested if somebody shows me a collection of, of quartz divers or, other watches. I just have just a general interest. I mean, through, these shows, and certainly yourself, my mind's opening up to the higher horology. Should we call it the higher end of things?
Mhm. I've
Um,
prepared something about thingies, but I'm afraid that it's going to be a little bit too lengthy. But I found a beautiful thingy thing that I had
right.
a remote idea about, but I read into it this evening in preparing the show. So I hope that we're gonna have a thingy talk very soon together. And I promise you, it's an amazing thingy.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that. There's a comment here from Danger Will Robinson, and you need to decode it for me because I don't quite understand what you're saying. Be nice
That
to
one?
Dodgy, Jonathan. You might need a co-host next week. Next
Well,
week, face height, blue wide
I
eyes.
I think he's not expecting Swiss to come back until next week. So
Right.
he
Okay.
just reminds me not to burn bridges to Dr. and Mrs. Dodger.
Well, I don't think
That's how I see it.
you've got any bridges to burn. I'd like to understand more about bridges and where they're applied within watches. I would like to understand that a bit more, when you're talking about bridges, but that's just another subject.
Not sure what voulez-vous means with that. I should have known this right from the start. Only hope can keep me together. Not sure what she means. The compromising or
I think only hope. I think she's singing a song. I think somewhere.
okay, yeah, yeah.
Only
She's
hope.
always singing songs. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, Dodger. So we are now
Okay.
1.5 hours into the show. I think it
I
was
think,
very enjoyable talking about your journey and talking about probably an, a different approach on collecting. I must say, your way is aligning to me. I don't have a collection philosophy. I'm not connected to a certain brand. I don't like the idea. You have 8 pieces with black dial. Now you need one with white dial, or you need an air, sea, and land watch. So you need a pilot's watch. You need a diver's watch.
No, I don't think I do. I think
Yeah.
I just fell into this, and this is what I've fallen into. I just fall into these watches. I mean, there's no plan or anything. I've got one for voulez-vous, by the way. Don't stand so close to me.
Oh, okay.
There's you get the reasoning behind that one, but sorry, yeah, that was exactly the time. Yeah.
Exactly. No, but I'm waiting until it hits me. Unfortunately, it hits me too often. And my advice for you would be, don't rush things. Just wait until it really hits you.
I'm going to be a little slut. I'm going to go around all the YouTubes and discuss this whole topic and try and get the advice from everybody, that's prepared to listen to me. So
yeah, and we're trying to seduce you and give you crazy ideas. We're doing our best, and you're welcome.
I can't help this. I'm going to feel in that case it was her car, but never mind. It was the opposite way around. sorry, John.
No problem. You're talking codes. Okay, so yes, I think it only remains to say thank you for all the people who lasted so long with us.
Yeah, it suffered me as well, absolutely.
Yeah, I hope that you enjoyed the show a little bit. It was a little bit different than usual.
Sorry to chat. Yeah,
let's see if Swis comes back. Daughter, thank you very much for joining the show. You're always welcome, just like most of our viewers are welcome to hop on. I'm posting the link again, just in case somebody's too shy to appear here on the show. We are still in the back room. I wish everybody a good weekend. Thank you very much again, Dodger. Thank you very much to Mrs. Dodger, who is lurking around in the background and gave you a slap when you behaved badly.
She slapped me off. Not often enough as I'd want.
Okay, I hear you. So, thank you. You have a good weekend. And until the next Swis Jon Show.
Take care.